So reminder, everybody, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it, comment, keep the comments coming. I want to know what you guys think about this next video or this next story here. I want to know what you guys have to say because I think it's fascinating. It's been controversial. It's been controversial. People on both the left and the right have been attacking Charlie Kirk, saying that he's a racist. And it's for a new reason, apparently. It's for a new reason. No, it's not because he doesn't support critical race theory. It's not because he wants voter ID. It's now because of his comments on airline pilots. But let's back up a little bit. Let's back up. There's a few different stories I want to cover with this. Out of the New York Post, the FAA, the Federal Aviation Association, is taking on a new, quote-unquote, diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which claims, quote, diversity is integral to achieving the FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel across our nation and beyond. Once again, this says diversity is integral to ensure safe and efficient travel. Why would in any way diversity be integral to safety? Diversity, not because they're not talking about diversity of thought. They're not talking about, multiple ways in which we can ensure that if a plane were to go down, we could keep people safe. That's not what they're talking about. What they're talking about is, do we have different skin colors? Do we have different sexualities? How does that promote safety and efficiency? I don't know. But it continues. Well, so what does that even really mean? Well, here's another way that they describe what it means. The FAA's website states targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. They include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism. So that's what the FAA is focusing on hiring. Your new air traffic controller might be a paranoid schizophrenic because, hey, at least it's diverse. Your new air traffic controller might be chasing the dragon because, hey, at least it's diverse. You want to know the saddest thing is that dwarfs get put into all this. Dwarfism. Look, I'll say personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Peter Dinklage, but I don't think he deserves to be put on the same list as somebody with a psychiatric disability or a blind individual in terms of how well they could handle a situation that has to do with airplanes. They say that this whole thing is about ensuring safe and efficient travel. I got to be honest. I wouldn't feel that safe with somebody who's blind controlling my magic skybox that's supposed to get me from point A to point B. I don't really feel very safe and comfortable with that. But this is what happens when the FAA which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, which I will always have to say, Peter's middle name, I think it's Paul, or it starts with a P. And so Pete Buttigieg's initials are PP Butt, just in case you're wondering, PP Butt. And he's the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, which is a government agency charged with regulating civil aviation and employs roughly 45,000 people. So diversity is what matters the most. Diversity is what matters the most. Diversity is also of the concern of airlines in general. In September of last year, the Chicago Sun-Times, which I'm from the Chicagoland area, so I'm going to bring it up. Chicago Sun-Times published an op-ed titled, this is actually the title of an op-ed in the Chicago Sun-Times. I'm not even kidding. White men have ruled the sky as airline pilots, but that's finally changing. I love it. White men have ruled the sky. As if like I have the ability to just like fly like an eagle through the sky, and I'm just up there and saying, ha ha ha, look at all the minorities who can't fly. No, that's not how it works. But don't worry, they're happy it's finally changing. This is how the article begins. It began with 90% of the time the speaker is white male when you hear, "This is your pilot speaking." Just 3.4% of U.S. airline pilots are Black. 2.2% are of Asian descent. And a paltry 0.5% are Hispanic or Latino. Women make up just 4.6%. Oh, but don't worry, everybody. As the article hints in the title, that's going to change. Many airlines have not only pledged to be more diverse, they've also promised to be more discriminatory against evil white men who have ruled the sky for way too long. In a slideshow posted to the Libs of TikTok Southwest Air, or to Libs of by Libs of TikTok, Southwest Airlines is pledging. Here's what they're pledging. You guys can see it on screen here. We are committed to measuring our progress in increasing diversity in senior leadership and reporting our progress openly. We are committed to doubling racial diversity and increasing gender diversity in our senior leadership team by 2025. We are also committed to increasing diverse representation on the Southwest Airlines board of directors. So, senior leadership, pilots, everybody. It's all about the color of your skin or what's between your legs, who you like to sleep with. Nowhere in there does it say, hey, let's try to get the best pilots there are, the people with the smoothest landing, the smoothest takeoff, and the best communication skills. No. It's about how much melanin you got in your skin. And if you can get pregnant. I can't even say women anymore, remember? Because apparently men can get pregnant too in 2024. This is just craziness to me. So don't worry, everybody. Southwest Airlines has promised to discriminate against white men in their hiring practices. And, don't worry. There's other airlines, right? There's other airlines. Well, United Airlines, their CEO, is taking it a step further. He's not just making the pledge. To be diverse and to hire diverse and discriminate against white men. No. The United Airlines CEO is taking it a step further in the fact that he himself is participating in said diversity. It was recently found out on and posted all over Twitter that the United Airlines CEO is actually a crossdresser. Or, that's not politically correct anymore. Trans, maybe, I don't know. What is he really? A drag queen. That's one of the words that I'm allowed to use. Yes, this man dresses up as a woman and even, in fact, forces it down his employees' throats at corporate events. And so take a look and a listen, if you can stomach it, to the United Airlines CEO partaking in some drag queen affairs. Here's that. That's him. That's Scott Kirby. Gosh, I'd be terrified if that was my stewardess on an airplane. But just for funsies, we'll keep watching. This grown man in a dress. This is absolutely cringeworthy. All right, that's enough of that. But yeah, so United Airlines is taking it so much further in terms of how exactly they're going to promote diversity. But that's what is of utmost importance right now to our airlines. It's by no means, and this all comes as reports of planes having doors ripped off mid-flight, of random 100-foot drops, several hundred, if not 1,000-foot drops mid-flight. This comes as airplanes are being recalled. And yet in every sector, through the FAA, to pilots, to senior level officials in these major companies, their focus is not on safety. They'll claim it is, and they'll claim that diversity is the way to safety without giving any level of a clear logical path as to how they make that conclusion. There is no clear logical path to that conclusion. And Charlie Kirk is somebody who pointed this out. And not only did he point that out, he also pointed out the psychological effect that this will have on society. And yet, people on both the right and the left called him racist. So ask yourselves, as I play you this clip, is Charlie Kirk a racist? And this is him not only for the initial clip, but also his reaction to the initial clip when he started getting called a racist. So take a look and a listen at this clip of Charlie Kirk apparently being an evil white man racist who apparently can also rule the sky, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. But here's that.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
So you guys piggybacked off of me because you knew what I was saying. Because what I was saying is that DEI creates and fosters sinful, unwholesome thought patterns. Because when they say we're going to hire people based on race and not competency, and so you start to just say, you know, what's going on here? Blake, you're part of this. This has gone so viral.
It's like I said,
22 million people have seen it on
It went absolutely viral, and it was all, you're a racist. Listen one more time to what Kirk actually said that got him called a racist. Keep listening.
Plane, when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying square jaw, get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
And that's all that anybody was playing, is if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, oh, I hope he's qualified. Well, what did Kirk actually mean? Well, he started talking about it a little bit there at the end, but he makes a solid point. When we have all of these companies, the FAA itself, even Pete Buttigieg, prioritizing identity characteristics over quality, you're going to wonder, is that person qualified? And like I said, this was not just lefties that came after him. There were Republicans as well. And so then people started responding. And so real quick, we'll take a look and listen at one of these responses. This is Alex Cole, who went viral now on Twitter, over 1 million views on this video. And the caption to this is, share this to piss off racist Republicans like Charlie Kirk who don't trust black pilots. Here is that video. It's just music that'll probably get me a copyright violation, but it's just a video of him on Delta Airlines with a bunch of other black pilots. And Charlie Kirk by no means was saying, this is the problem, is if you look at this tweet, let's take off that up there. It says, who don't trust black pilots. Nowhere in that clip did Charlie Kirk say that this was about that he didn't trust black pilots. It's not what he said. What he said is simply something that we see in a lot of different things. And so to answer the question first, is Charlie Kirk a racist? No, of course not. He said the quiet part out loud, and that's what people got mad about. What did he say that was the quiet part? This is the implication from these airline companies and the FAA when they say they're going to prioritize minorities, women, and the disabled in their hiring, and thus decrease hiring the evil straight white man. They imply that the minorities were not so qualified, so they will lower their standards to meet society's fragile ego. Because society demands that we need to have representation over quality, safety, efficiency,